And then there's also the risk of overcompensating, right? Becoming what we call analysis paralysis. Or I think our new term has been data drunk, right? We're all getting too drunk on the data at this point, right? Because you can overdo it at some point.
Welcome to Restaurant 365 Presents Behind the Numbers, a show where we talk to restaurant owners and operators, chefs and CFOs, everybody in between about what makes successful restaurants tick. Now, before we get started, just a quick reminder. Don't forget, like and subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in, and please consider leaving us a review. It helps us bring you all of our amazing guests and conversations, as well as continue to grow and support this incredible restaurant community of ours. And with that, I'm your host, Rick Sweeney.
And I'm Marc Cohen, and we're very excited to be here today with Troy Hooper. Troy, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm the CEO of Hot Pot America. That's the parent holding company for Pepper Lunch Restaurants. We have 560 restaurants in the world as of the 30th of December, 2025.
Just a couple.
Yeah, just a couple. We're in 17 countries. We're a Japanese fast casual hot plate concept. Protein rice or protein pasta and vegetables on a hot plate. You got about 6 sauces to choose from to build it and make it your own way. And yeah, that's me, myself, and I.
Well, let's get into sort of a big fundamental question we always like to start with. So what's sort of the most important thing you think leaders should be focused on in store operations or finance? Like what's front of mind for you and the Hot Palate team right now?
Yeah, I think knowing what matters, knowing what numbers matter the most to you and really matter the most to your business. And we're a franchise business, so really understanding what matters to our franchisees the most. And so, it obviously touches all parts, both front and back of the house. And, not shying away from variables within labor, both front and back, but, supply chain costs and waste and managing your prep schedule and all those kinds of things. So I just think knowing what you need to know, right? I think I talk to a lot of, let's say, younger, smaller, newer, emerging brand folks. And a lot of times the focus isn't always on the right thing. And so I just think really understanding your numbers and what ranges need to be for what reason in every area of your business. And then really having a plan to manage that and manage that proactively, right? I think most people manage their numbers reactively. They get their monthly report and they look back and they go, what happened? And they try to figure out what happened.
I don't remember.
Figure out what happened. Another month's gone by, right? Honestly, that's really what it takes.
Totally.
And so I think having a plan of asking yourself, what am I looking at daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly? How am I comparing myself to myself? How am I comparing myself to others? And what am I comparing to what? Am I comparing Tuesday to Tuesday at the same time? What variables are in my business? And yeah, it gets a lot harder on seasonality too, right? There's external factors. But once you have that sort of cadence, you just have to stick to it and be consistent with it.
You're speaking our language. And I do think there's the risk of not doing any of that. And then there's also the risk of overcompensating, right? Becoming what we call analysis paralysis. Or I think our new term has been data drunk, right? We're all getting too drunk on the data at this point, right? Because you can overdo it at some point. So I think you bring up a great point. Understanding the KPIs that resonate to you and focusing just on those rather than overwhelming yourself with.
Yeah, and to my point of, I think, looking at the wrong numbers, I think a lot of people overlook prep labor. They overlook shrink and waste. They overlook ordering too much and too little. So their inventory control and inventory management process and system is not relevant to their sales, right? And so they end up with too much, or they slack too much, or they slack too little. Now they're 86, and man, a guest comes in and can't get what they wanted for what they can't. They might pivot in that moment and stick with you. They might walk out the door, but they might pivot and stick with you. But that moment sticks in their mind. Oh, when I go, I can't always get what I want. So I think those are really important attributes to KPIs, as you say, to look at.
Absolutely. Well, and let's talk about
you've got everything when everybody's coming in for it. You like you said, sometimes they might pivot and go for that alternative option. But if you're craving that one dish and you come in and you're oh, they don't have it, or it's even worse, they don't have it again. Then it's kind of like the nail in the coffin when you're building up a brand and getting that loyalty that's happening all the time.
Yeah, and consistency
100%.
at the end of the day, consistency is king. That the C word's my favorite word in our entire industry. Really matters very little what you do and how you do it and who you do it for. If you're consistent, the audience will find it, right? Or you'll find the audience and drag them in. But if you are inconsistent, then you're constantly changing who your audience, who you're for.
Yeah.
That gets to be a real problem because, and again, you say 86. Well, next time I come in, I might bring somebody and you have what I want. Last time you didn't have what I want. This time you have what I want, but now you don't have what they want, right? And they just see that pattern of inconsistency. And so I think that's really the most important metric is consistency.
Right. And one of those KPIs that I think we're talking about more and more now is frequency, right? And if we're inconsistent, we're going to blow that frequency metric. Like to your point, they're not going to be coming back on a regular basis to get that special thing that they want.
Yeah, look, I eat at Chick-fil-A way too much. Period. End of story. 2 years ago, they went from putting a Chick-fil-A a mile in both directions of my house to putting one at the entrance to my neighborhood. And so now
market research works.
I have 3 within a mile. Okay, let's just put it that way. And it's too easy. And you know what? Not the greatest food. Yes, it's good hospitality and service. Yes, it's recognizable, and they recognize me as well. That's all nice. It's like your favorite neighborhood coffee shop type environment, but it's consistency. I know I'm going to get in and out in under 7 minutes. I'm going to get exactly what I asked for every time. The accuracy in the bag is 98.9%. They have messed it up twice in 2 years out of I don't want to say how many orders, but you know the reality is it's consistency is the reason I go to Chick-fil-A.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. And let's talk about some numbers that we might care about. So you're no stranger to the podcast environment. You have your own podcast called the Pineapple Perspective. How many episodes have you done now?
I don't track it. I have people that do that. I'm somewhere.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm somewhere over the 100 mark or something like that. But anyway, 75 to 100. Awesome. I'm right in that neighborhood. Yeah.
And then you've been using Restaurant 365 for how long now?
Since you guys were about 18 months old as a company.
Wow.
So I've been a customer of Restaurant 365 through several brands, as well as our consulting practice has recommended or placed R365 in a lot of small and emerging brands as well over the years. And with Pepper Lunch, we've been with R365 basically as soon as we got a point of sale system switched and turned on at the brand a couple of years ago. So this is not a plant, by the way. I was asked to be on the podcast, not because I'm R365 ambassador of the year. I'm definitely not.
You are drinking the Kool-Aid, my friend. We love it.
But I am a believer. I am an appreciative customer of the service. But I'm very familiar, obviously.
And so I want to talk a little bit about a crazy number. So you said, how many locations do we have internationally now?
So 560 total stores globally.
Wow. And then looking forward, what is this aggressive growth plan you've got?
Yeah, we'll have 1,161 stores or more at the end of 2030. So when we sit here, January 2031, we'll have over 1,100 stores.
And we'll have recorded our 500th podcast, Rich.
No doubt. At least you got to throw in the at least in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Well, we have to come back and revisit that and see what that's amazing. That's super exciting. And so Pepper Lunch, for those of them, for our listeners, right? This is a fairly new concept to the North American audience. And I know you talked a little bit about sort of how it works, but what's sort of the genesis of this story? Where did this all start? Yeah,
it started in Tokyo, Japan in 1994. July 3rd, 1994, the first store opened. A famous Japanese teppanyaki chef had already had a whole chain of finer casual Japanese steakhouses. And okay. He felt that with imported beef prices and the style of his restaurant, he really only could serve a certain percentage of the population. He had a limited audience availability. And so he wanted to make beef more accessible and high quality beef more accessible to the average consumer in Japan. So he created a fast casual version of his Japanese steakhouse chain, which he had several hundred of those as well. And so he created Pepper Lunch. And within a year, he had franchised it outside of Japan, the master license agreement outside of Japan, to Suntory Food and Beverage. Most people know Suntory Liquor. This is the food and beverage business part of that.
Suntory times.
Yeah. And actually I have a bottle arriving today. People send me Suntory liquor all the time. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully we get some more here, Rich. We'll see.
I know, like that sounds like a terrible thing to have happen to you.
I do receive a lot of alcohol to my house. I think the word's out, but and I've cut way back like a lot of people. But anyway, so the chain started growing and consistently, really, truly consistently has grown pretty significantly, 30 to 60 stores a year, almost every year. Wow. Over about a 30-year period. It definitely took a ramp-up period. It's been in the U.S. officially since 2018. We did have 5 stores open between 2018 and 2019 in the U.S. under one master license. But the brand was sold in 2020 to a private equity group in Japan, and they came knocking. They wanted to see the North American, Western Hemisphere growth. They wanted to kickstart growth across the rest of Asia and into Europe and other territories. So over the last 3 years, we've been building a team and a system and reconstituting the business. We bought that Suntory food and beverage business. We bought our first and largest franchisee. The day I started was when they closed on that deal. And so it gave us an infrastructure. It gave us 60 more corporate stores. So today we have 560 total stores, but we operate 130 corporate stores in 3 countries. We operate every store in Singapore, China, and 60 of the 200 in Japan. So, we have 1,000 employees. We serve over 40 million plates a year. So as a franchisor, we know what we're doing, right? And we operate a big business. At the same time, we're very, very focused on our franchisees because, they're still obviously the majority, 75% of the system. And going forward, will continue to be 100% of the growth of the system. So we're very, very grateful. We have franchisees with 112 stores in Indonesia. They just re-signed their agreement for another 15 years, I believe. And so, very dedicated long-term franchise system, a growing system with a lot of new, excited multi-unit, multi-brand franchisees coming on in the U.S. now.
Right.
That's awesome. That's been incredible growth. And then wasn't one of the newest locations, was that the Hawaii location?
So we opened in Hawaii and they are rocking it. Hawaii is excited. I won't give away exact numbers, but I can just tell you as of today, it's 3 weeks open and the numbers have been consistent every day. And right now it's on par to be our number 1 store in the United States. Wow. It's going to rival our very high volume Asia stores if it continues on this pace. But yeah, Hawaii's excited. Look, the Hawaiian legacy culture of Japanese and Asian population, immigration there and now second and third generation population, the Hawaiian native culture has adopted Asian food and cuisine and culture at scale. And so it's been a very popular opening, and you'll just see most people that go to that store have experienced pepper lunch somewhere in the world because, if you live in Hawaii, it's just as easy to get to Asia as it is to get to the continental US. And so they're very, very familiar, obviously, with pepper lunch as a brand, and they're very excited to see stores open. And by the way, that is store 1 of 3 that are going to open in the next year and a half out of a total of 10 that are going to open across all the islands. So Pepper Lunch is a big, big footprint in Hawaii, and the folks there have been very excited and responded very well.
Yeah, that would be.
If you need me to come do an on-site, like during the opening, or
right,
I can tell you that almost every executive and management leader in this company worldwide said for 2-3 years, when Hawaii opens, I'm going to go. I want to go. I'm going to be there. And I got there and nobody else showed up. So, it's a want, right? But it's not necessarily a need for everybody to be there. But I don't doubt that.
Well, if you need Mark and I to be there, we will happily fly out to Hawaii.
Every vendor,
and be a
I
part
was
of it.
as long as you're paying for it, you're welcome to go. But
I'm curious too.
I do think a lot of our folks are going to pass through Hawaii to see it and experience it.
Oh yeah,
over the next 2 years.
I remember opening a restaurant in Hawaii 25 years ago. I was with a group and watching kids just show up from all over the country to work there just so they could experience. Right? It was great. It was so fun to watch. And I also remember opening night, like those people can eat. So is your check average
it's massive?
Do you see an increased check average in Hawaii? Yeah.
Yeah. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of just under double.
Wow.
It's high.
Wow.
Yeah. And they, but by the way, they also travel in larger family units, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah. And we see that in Utah too. We see larger
Yep.
family units. And if you have a larger family unit, especially a multi-generational family unit where it's very common to have multiple generations, 3 generations in a household, when they go out to eat, they go out together. And so, yeah, we see larger groups, higher per person check, higher total check average there. When they go out, they like to eat and eat high portion and quality food.
And I do remember opening a restaurant in Utah as well, and we ran out of high chairs within the first 25 minutes.
A lot of kids. Okay.
So if you're opening in Hawaii or Utah, to talk to Troy and I, we've got some good tips for you.
Utah's the reason we're launching a kids menu in a couple of weeks. Literally.
That's very smart.
Yeah, it was on our radar. It was on our plan. We launched it in Asia a little over about a year ago. And, it was in our roadmap of things to get done here in the U.S. And the need was moved up. The priority was moved up very quickly because, again, exactly what you said. Folks in Utah just weren't really understanding how to feed their kids off our regular menu, which takes a little understanding and adaptation. I get it. We're launching a kids menu in 3 weeks.
And the footprint of the stores notoriously they're not huge spaces, right?
Well, our highest volume stores in the world are 209 square feet, doing 700 plates a day on average. Almost 800 plus 700 on. But look, those are food courts in Hong Kong, and that's high density, high volume. But in the U.S., we're an inline, no end cap, no drive through, standard inline concept. We prefer 17 to 1900 square feet. That Hawaii store is barely 1,300 square feet.
Bursting.
But we're very fortunate. We get a lot of seats. We're 1,350 square feet in Hawaii, and we have 44 seats inside. So we can get a lot. We don't need a large footprint for the kitchen because we're not cooking. We have no ranges and ovens. We're not saucing. We're not
think about that.
Yeah, we have no prep labor. We have no prep product. Everything comes prepped in by our purveyors for us. And so our kitchens are as a result, a lot smaller scale, and we can also be flexible with the size and shape of the kitchen. So we can squeeze a lot into a small space. That was dictated by the best space available in that area, but we are trying to be north of 1,700 to 1,900 square feet on average. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And on that, like, kind of explain
1,700 square feet, we get 72 seats. So.
Okay. Now, with that part, kind of explain behind the concept, and then do you guys have like your own proprietary induction plates and like the plates themselves? So I guess kind of talk about that just a little bit because it's so much different than what most people are seeing.
Yeah, we were lucky. Our founding owner chef was a bit of an inventor, and he created a technology, an induction unit, a high temperature on demand induction unit. What that means is it's induction cooking or induction heating element, but it's high energy on demand. We store energy in an amplifier box. We fire that by pushing a button. And in 74 seconds, that hot plate, proprietary iron plate, goes from room temperature to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, 270 degrees Celsius in 74 seconds. And it stays over 200 degrees for about 30 minutes. And so you can actually cook on the plate. And every bite is hot. You have to blow on every bite. If you stir your food, every bite is very, very hot. So that's a proprietary system. It allows for high throughput, high volume. Like I said, in Hong Kong, we have most stores in Hong Kong are doing north of 700 covers a day. Just stop and think about that. If you're a regular operator listening to this show, when the U.S. average is 350 to 380 covers a day for a casual to fast casual concept, fast food does higher throughput, but yeah, we're on demand. So when you place your order, we take all of the clean, high quality raw ingredients, put them on this iron plate, put the sauces or accoutrement on there, and we send it out to you, and you cook it on your plate at the table. So if you're familiar with Korean barbecue or Japanese yakiniku, it's very similar to that, but you don't have a cooking element in the center of the table. You don't have ventilation at the table. The plate itself that you eat from is the cooking instrument as well. So, unique concept, allows for high volume, high throughput. But our biggest thing is we have no prep and no culinary labor in the building. And so we've spec'd every ingredient from our purveyors to be consistent and be provided to us the way we need it. So we can just weigh and assemble. We just portion and assemble a very, very tight spec on every ingredient and every spice and every sauce that we use is very, very, very tight portion spec, and we do that very quickly and consistently and get it out to you. So if you're in line and there's not an order in front of you, you're going to have your food in less than 3 minutes. Our average ticket time is about 4.5 minutes in most cases. And I'll tell you, like grand opening at ASU, grand opening at Hawaii, we had ticket time sub 7 minutes. And so you can get most of our guests, our average turnover is 24 minutes from order to out the door. So from the time you place your order at our kiosk with our hospitality host and you walk out the door is on average 24 minutes.
I did some fun math here, Rich. So 500 degrees, 700 covers, 350,000 degrees of cooking power in a single day.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's
Wild.
hot.
Yeah.
It's hot.
And so I have to imagine as a first-time guest, this is probably a bit like, what is happening? What is this concept?
It's really
What's
easy
going
to
on?
tell if you've been to a pepper lunch before or not. You walk in with wide eyes, look up at the digital menu board, look at the kiosk. That's why we have a hospitality host, right? So when you walk in, we have this greeter ambassador that welcomes you, asks you if you've been here before. If you have, what do you like? Oh, I always get the same thing. This is what I get. And we try to do a little suggestive selling and really to enhance the experience. It's not about the upsell in that case. It's really about, hey, have you ever put onions on it? Have you ever put mushrooms on it?
Right.
Our CEO's favorite is the dried garlic chips. Put some garlic chips on that thing. Order it with double butter, double margarine. So it's not butter, it's margarine. We call it pepper paste, whatever you want to call it. Order it with double secret pepper margarine. That's really where the secret sauce of the flavor comes from. But
okay.
Yeah. So our hospitality, if you've not been there before, oh, great. Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Let me just tell you a little bit about it. And we can break it down very simply. You have 6 categories of entrees. It's protein, rice, and veg. Unless you're a vegetarian or vegan, we can accommodate that with tofu for a protein or all vegetables, right? But we're basically protein, rice, and veg. We're meat-centric. If you've never been here before, our jumbo beef pepper rice is where you want to start. Here's a couple wink secrets. Put that garlic chip on there. Double up on the sauce. And then when we bring it to the table, we will do the same thing. When we bring it to the table, you've not been here before. Let us show you how to do the fold in the incorporation. Let us show you how to stir fry your food on your own Teppan plate. And that way you get that comfortable experience. And I can just tell you, most guests who come for the first time return within 3 weeks, bring a guest with them. And then they say to us, oh, the first time I had no idea, it was really good. But this time was so much better because they felt comfortable adding on all the mixes and things that you can do. We're not unlike a ramen concept in that way. You walk in and you decide, am I having chicken, pork, beef, vegetable, right? Am I having tonkatsu, pork ramen? Great. It comes with a couple of things. I'm going to add fresh garlic. I'm going to add garlic oil, or I'm going to add broccoli. I'm going to add asparagus. We're very much similar in that respect in stylistics.
That makes a lot of sense. And so you've been there since store 1 in North America?
I've not. So store 1 opened in 2018. We had 5 stores open when I got here with 1 franchisee. We today have 10 open. We have 13 under physical construction. We have just under 30 leases signed and moving quickly. We will open, expecting to open around 18 stores in North America this year. And that number will essentially double every year going forward based on the commitments we already have. We have 120 stores already sold in the United States. We're going after Canada. Canada's ready to go. We got some great leads and potential partners in the pipeline that we're talking to now in Canada. And then we are in the early stages of development, infrastructure setup and development for Brazil in the next year or so. We're looking to go to Europe in the next year or so as well. So expanding both rapidly in the United States. Right now we're in 8 states, coming with stores under construction, and that will continue to expand with some new deals coming this year. And then obviously the new countries I mentioned as well.
And so you come in obviously with the goal of scalability first and foremost, right? How do we build this thing? Tech stack is obviously critical to what you do, right? Yeah. So like, was R365 just an immediate, it sounded like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I'll say this, and this comes from my consulting background, is that you have your bag of tricks. You have your tools. Now, I like my toolbox to have a lot of tools in it. I like to know what all of my options are, because not every solution fits every system. And by the way, there's scale, there's timing, right? This comes down to our 365 might be amazing, but it might not be amazing for somebody with 2 or 3 stores, right? Or 5 or 7 stores. Wherever the break is for that person, could be a cost barrier, could be some overlap with other technology, having to decide, do I consolidate? Do I move over to one, or, do I drop another? And so for me, yes, I have my list, I have my relationships, and of course it comes with experience. If you have experience with a tool, a technology, a platform, a group of people, then you know what's going to happen. You know what to expect. It's not the unknown, right? Many things in technology, when you buy, bye salesperson, I love you, you're amazing, but it's like starting all over again, right? It's a whole new experience. Sure. And so if you haven't gone through that before, it may not be as smooth as you were sold or told or hoped it would be. And so I look at every scenario very specifically to the need of the business at that stage of the business. Now, do I think you should have multiple POSs in a 5 or 7 year period? No offense to my friends who have gone through that. Nobody's perfect. No. We started with somebody else and now we're at Toast. So we went through it as well. But
hard lesson to learn.
It is. And what you make decisions based on what you know at the time and when circumstances change. But yeah, so for me, R365 is always at the top of the top 3-4 things in the list, but it has to fit. It has to fit that brand and that system for their goals at that time. And luckily we're able to make that work.
And I was going to say, just, the way that the relationship that we've gotten to have from, when you guys were coming on all the way through Craig and I showing up at the co-sponsored pickleball tournament wearing our R365, like, you can't get rid of us. You're just
search the internet for that photo, please. Everybody listening.
It's all over the place. Our marketing team went crazy with it, but and then just kind of getting to build and see as you guys have been growing and expanding, getting to talk to all the different kind of facets of the groups as they're growing out. It's been awesome to see. And I think part of that really came from, that standardization of the tech stack and really trying to find tools that can expand across as you guys grow.
Yeah, look, and when we talk about R365, we mandate the operating platform so that our franchisees have the tools we think they need, but so that we also have the tool to help manage our franchisees and support them and know what's going on in their business. We have a very robust supply chain management system at Pepper Lunch. We have a global supply chain self-managed system. We import a lot of proprietary ingredients, products, and equipment, like the induction unit we talked about. And so we have to have visibility and forecastability. If you want that pepper paste, which is our pepper, garlic, margarine, or our 6 sauces, we got to know how much you're going through of it, not in a lagging indicator of 45 days after we get our royalty reports, right? Like, we've got to know in the moment. And so not only watching consumption, but also looking at the changes in your business so we can predict that. So, we mandate that. But my point is, we don't mandate the accounting software. We only have a couple of our franchisees using the accounting solution for R365. It's a phenomenal solution. We use it as a brand. We're using it on our side as a brand to manage our brand business as well. But we don't mandate it because our franchisees, many or most of them, are multi-unit, multi-brand. And so they may already have systems in place. They already have teams in place. They already have, infrastructure around how they manage their finances and their banking and their reporting. And so I can't tell them they have to change their accounting system across 4 brands or have a separate one for my brand. So that was an optionality we put in the system initially. But so it's not always one shoe fits.
Right. Well, and if I'm backing into the KPIs you were talking about at the beginning, controlling labor, controlling spend, controlling, inventory, absolutely.
Look, we want our franchisees to be profitable.
Yeah.
By the way, that's a franchisor that just said that. We want our franchisees to be profitable. There are franchisor businesses out there that don't give a damn if your franchisees are profitable. They care about top line, right? But that's not success. Success is profit equals investment. Profit equals renewal. Profit equals expansion of territory and new stores. And it motivates people to move quicker in those things, right? And so we want our franchisees to be profitable, for gosh sake. So we want to help them. And when we see things that there are opportunities to help them with data, analytics, reporting, operational insights, technology insights. We are constantly in their stores trying to help them adopt these things and understand them better so they can have more efficiency and optimize their performance and ultimately make more money.
Love that.
Well said. Yes. Super critical. And so it sounds like the last 3 years have been pretty transformative for your organization. What are we looking at for 2026? Other than the growth we've been talking about, what's the next big initiative at Pepper Lunch?
Yeah, so we're able to settle in now to some things that we have to do as a franchisor, and our franchisees are excited. We're going to get on a cadence of launching multiple LTOs. We did one in the latter half of last year. That was our first LTO in the US. In Asia, we're pumping out promotions and LTOs at scale, right, across 17 countries. We have centralized system over there that helps support that. We're now implementing that here in the U.S. So we have some new folks coming on board. We have some support coming over from Asia this month as well. So you'll see 3 to 4 LTOs a year coming out from us. You'll see some value promotions coming out from us. We'll continue on menu innovation as far as the what we call the grand menu, the fixed menu, evaluation and analytics and adjusting of that. We have our first value promotion coming out in a few days. Depending on when this comes out, it could still be out. We're going to increase our base low priced beef pepper rice dish, our entry level dish into the brand. We're going to increase our portion of that and decrease the price of it. So 20% more beef for 20% less cost. So that's, you're going to be able to get beef pepper rice at $10.99. So we're going to be able to offer that value entry point promotion for our customers for the first time. I mentioned earlier, we launched a kids menu. We are in the latter stages of our native app development. So we're going to have apps, a consumer app and loyalty program coming out this year. We're working behind the scenes on other systems for our franchisees, like a VR training system. So a hands-on haptic, AI adaptive VR training system for our franchisees. To make sure that their employees, when they hire employees and managers and things, that they're getting the reps and repetition and experience they need, and that they're getting the coaching they need for accuracy. Because for us, accuracy plus speed, plus hospitality,
consistency.
Yeah, we've got to
be
there.
Yep.
So we have a lot on our plate to consistently work on, but and opening stores and really focusing on the success of our existing stores as they open and making sure that we're in there and we're supporting them and we're making sure they have everything they need to be successful.
Love that. That's awesome. And I really love too that your first value promotion that's coming out is really taking it back to your roots of that was how the whole thing got started, right? Like trying to provide the beef option that's a really great product at an affordable price, and that's you guys kind of taking it back to your roots for something that, so many people now are always on the hunt for a deal and a bargain and something that's great and tasty. So I think it's awesome you guys bring that out for everybody.
Yeah. Look, the macroeconomic reality, we've waited as long as we could, right? We have eaten tariffs for a year, basically, almost, and not passed that through to our franchisees, therefore not to our guests. We have taken a 3% price increase in the last 18 months. The average brand took an 8% price increase in 2024, and many continued to take a price increase in 25. We have not done that. And so we're very sensitive to the consumer. We want to be consistent for them, predictable for them and their wallet. And so we want to basically, like you said, go back to our roots and make sure that our consumers can get into a Pepper Lunch for, let's just call it under $13 with an entree and a drink. And you'll see bundling. We're going to test some bundling as well, right? We want people to experience our sides. We want them to experience our desserts. We want to experience our beverage program with Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Keurig, and Tractor Beverage, which is our organic frescas. So we want them to really be adventurous and try things there as well. So we're going to see some value promotions in addition to LTOs, which are new product introductions, new flavor profile introductions, as well as bundling as well.
I would argue with the app, it's probably good timing, because I would think with the app, you're probably going to see an increase in check average, because when you can customize on your own time, on your own screen, right?
We have a little proof of that. Exactly a year ago, we put our first kiosk in the U.S. We had already started testing them in Asia, but when we put the we had every U.S. store had kiosk only ordering with a hospitality host, all but 3 stores by April of last year. So we're 9 months into that experiment, and our average check went up $5.50. And so,
Wow.
yeah, so average plate went up about $1.60, and average check went up $5.50, which means they added more to the entrees and they added more on their check, like drinks and sides. At the time. Dessert wasn't even really in the consideration then. Now that we have dessert out of Q4 last year, so absolutely, you give people a chance to relax, review, add things, walk through a very prescribed process of we do this, then we add that, then we understand this, then we want that. Would you like to add a drink? Boom. Now you see average plate and check go up dramatically. And so absolutely agree, Mark. Putting it in your hand only gives people more choice, more freedom of time, more less pressure to quote order and hurry up because there's a line behind you, right? And so I think you're right. I think we'll see online digital order adoption expand dramatically. I think we'll find new customers, and I think our existing customers will be buying more from us on a per order basis.
Absolutely. And I mean, for the kiosk business, so it's important, I think, to note you still have that hospitality person there helping and guiding. And I think one of the interesting things you said is it like flipped your review. Your reviews went from being all about the food to being all about the people because of a piece of technology, which I thought was just fascinating.
Yeah, look, that was a really big surprise to me. We knew when we decided to do kiosks, and we were very cautious and careful and took a long time to decide on our partner and our design and our flow, our guest journey flow, et cetera. We knew it was going to be good, and we knew it was going to help the business. We knew it was going to help the guest have a better experience, but we weren't just going to remove the cashier and just put a machine out front and say, good luck. Right. And so we're Japanese. We're founded in this dramatic sense of hospitality, and the importance of hospitality is a really important value proposition for us. And so we added this position, and we hired for this position somebody, look, 150 times in a shift. You got to be excited and welcome and explain this menu, and right. And so it takes a special person to do that. It's more like hiring an actor than it is hiring, a busser or a food runner, right? And so we did that knowing that, we wanted to give hospitality, we wanted people to feel welcome. We wanted them to have a chance to discover and learn more about our brand in a one-to-one direct interaction. But we also knew it gave people a chance to ask questions and get comfortable and feel that sense of service. And boy, oh boy, have they. To your point, Mark, what we're referring to is a few months into it, about 90 days into it, we looked back on our customer sentiment, our word map. How did people describe Pepper Lunch in the US before kiosk and 90 days after kiosk? And it was before kiosk, we were excited. People would sizzle, hot, experience, Instagrammable, tasty, high quality, hot, all these great words about the food and the experience. And we were like, great, people get it. They love it. They're addicted. It's craveable. We talk about craveability a lot. 90 days in, there isn't a word about food in our entire word map. The top 20 things that people use to describe Pepper Lunch didn't have a word about food or experience or hot or sizzling. It was our number one word people use to describe us today is friendliness. Friendliness, service, hospitality, care. It's a remark. And what did we do? We took away a cashier from across the counter and we put a kiosk in front of you. And now we are more hospitable because of that. And so that switch for us has really been dramatic, for sure.
That's so cool.
That's awesome. It's such a thing that you see kind of the opposite for so many other brands. They just stick a kiosk and say, go figure it out for yourself. And instead, you guys are using that as just a better tool for interacting with clients and customers as they're coming in, especially those first time folks.
Look, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I won't name names, but my wife said, hey, can we take a break and go get lunch today? And we went to a local fast casual burger joint. On the way out the door, she said, oh, they have kiosks too. On the way out the door, right?
Yeah.
Because this brand decided to put 3 kiosks in their dining room and keep the cashier, order taker at the thing. Well, at this brand, they're really well known for letting you customize everything. I'll have this burger, but I want it with a chicken patty. And I want to change the bread. Very customizable, and people are very comfortable with that. And so if you ask them to just go to a machine and figure out how to make that happen, right? Order what you want the way you've always wanted it. It's going to be a learning curve. And so, yeah, you could put a person out front, which is what I would have done, like we did. I mean, I can't knock my own idea there, but people are so accustomed to going to that and ordering their typical fast-paced custom order that nobody uses the kiosk. I just never see anybody using that brand's kiosk. And so it's not what you do, it's how you do it at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And I would argue if they were looking at their check average by service type in our 365, they would see that when they do get an order at that kiosk, it is probably the exact same effect, right? It's double what they would be getting at the cashier.
Sure. You got to design it right too, though. The customer journey flow and map has to meet the customer where they are, the way they order, right?
100%. Yeah, we talk about that a lot. Hardware is, building is as important as software.
Exactly. It always got to come together and balance. It's got to work out the right way. With balance and things working out the right way, I mean, how are you seeing yourself transform Pepper Lunch this year? Like, what are you guys doing to change the restaurant space or change inside of your restaurants?
Yeah, look, I think how we look at things, how we look at loyalty, we come out with loyalty. Look, points for orders is 10% of the loyalty customer, customer affinity, I should say, journey and relationship between a brand and the consumer. And so for us, we look at loyalty, we look at offer engines very differently. I've said this pretty loudly off and on for the last couple of years. Our goal is to have a one-to-one known relationship. We want them to feel comfortable giving us insights and feedback. We want to be able to know them very, very well and be able to offer them what they want, where, when, and how they want it in a very one-to-one personal relationship. And so that's our goal. Our goal is to get to a point where through all of these modalities and all this data collection, we know them so well that it seems obvious and it seems intuitive and it seems natural for them to receive an offer to encourage them to come back or to buy something new or to add something to their mix or whatnot. So, that is our goal. And so for me, it's just like everybody's doing the same thing, but how you look at it, what is your values? How do you come to the customer with your values? How do you impart hospitality? For us, a very different loyalty experience, a very different marketing engine, CDP experience on their side as they'll experience it. Very data driven, very one-to-one. And then for us, the next phase of that is gamification. I really want people to want to come to our app and come into our stores physically because they did something on the app and it gave them a reward that drove them into the store. And so, we look at that very different. We're also coming out with an entirely new off-premise program, the technology side of that with Toast and Boxy locker systems, Deliverect and Boxy locker systems is in place and been going great. Our new branded packaging and our performance packaging lands in the next couple months to 3 months. So some of it lands this month, some of it lands later in the quarter. But we're basically rolling out an entirely new performance packaging based program that focuses on the customer's experience. Again, how they get their food, what condition their food's in, what temperature their food is in. We've put 3 years of research into this. And so again, off-prem branded performance packaging, everybody's focused on it. Everybody's looking at it. Everybody's rolling something out. We think we did and looked at that very differently and through a different lens. And we think the end result is going to be very unique and very innovative for us.
Oh, that's exciting. Just a few things going on.
Yeah. I know this show's edited, but we got to wrap it up.
Yes, we always like to end these things on a hot take. I think for you, this is a sizzling hot take, a Pepper Lunch 500-degree hot take on the industry. Something you love, something you hate.
Oh, hot take. I love robotics, and I want to see more people get more serious. Your bussers should not be carrying heavy bins of heavy plates and full liquid glassware back across your restaurant to the dish pit. They should have a robotic support apparatus. They're following them around. Food robotics, we're exploring a variety of semi-automated, automated type food production, cooking implementations as well. And so for me, the hot take is I think we all need to be thinking a lot more about automations, mechanics, robotics in general. I'm not sure when the shoe will drop on AI, but at some point, AI is going to be more than analytics and data display. Yes. I think it's going to become more actionable. I think it's going to become more automated and self-driven. And so I'm looking forward to more tools getting to that point.
Absolutely. That was a good sizzling hot take. I'm here for it. Troy Hooper, thank you so much for joining us. You can find him on LinkedIn, and you can find Pepper Lunch across a bunch of states with even more coming soon. So make sure you check him out. And you can find him on all social media platforms as well as pepperlunchrestaurants.com.
And of course, thank you all for joining us. We hope you have a great day, a profitable Monday, wherever your restaurant may be. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast and to Troy's podcast, The Pineapple Perspective, wherever you like to listen. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you are listening. And you can follow us across all social media on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And of course, you can always visit us at restaurant365.com. Troy, really appreciate the time and the insight. Have a great evening.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Glad to be here.